Kia ora. Insomniac's next entry into their Marvel PlayStation universe releases this October. I cannot wait. I've been counting down the days since I 100%ed the game again for like the 5th time. I want to go over some of my favorite LEGO Spider-Man sets, both from past and present-ish. If you enjoy these reviews, liking and subscribing does help to support this channel. We're heading into villains territory today, a set that I still believe is actually a standout idea that just hasn't quite been executed to its full potential just yet. This is the LEGO Ultimate Spider-Man set Rhino and Sandman supervillain team-up, which released in 2015 for 100 NZD. Some disclosures real quick. My set is missing some pieces. The parts used to build Sandman's hands are not here, which does still really frustrate me today, but getting pieces replaced in this country is just a nightmare for expenses. Now, I bought this set second hand, and when I messaged the seller that there were pieces missing, I think they actually fully refunded me, so this set was completely free, an absolute steal of a lifetime for me personally. The set overview here is a construction site playset with 2 of the most recognizable villains in Spider-Man's roster. I loved when this set originally released, but I couldn't afford LEGO at that age, so getting this later on in life was pretty satisfying. A couple of other disclosures to address. Let's talk about the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon that this is apparently based on. LEGO have listed a handful of Spider-Man sets as being based on the kids show Ultimate Spider-Man. After some researching though, I couldn't really find any evidence of this actually being an accurate set, and given how unfamiliar I am with the supposed source material, I won't really be able to fairly judge this on its accuracy. Up until now, I just assumed that every single Spider-Man set was a comic-based set and not actually based on comics either, just like an amalgamation of LEGO's own personal original ideas. Because in the show, it looks like Rhino is a kid and that he also fully transforms into the Beast, not a middle-aged bald guy wearing a mech suit. The construction site is a very basic playset build that's quite fragile in some of its areas, but it supplies enough of an idea that I do still love it for its style. I love Spider-Man sequences that take place through construction sites both in games and movies nearly as much as I love bridge sequences. So these are the areas where Sandman's hands are supposed to be. You can see in the image here from the actual set what they're meant to look like. They're really cool, they're pretty big and bulky, and I think they can hold onto minifigures. Maybe someday I will have the funds where I can ship all of the missing pieces, but I'm just not really willing to spend that amount just yet. Right here is a hidden compartment where diamonds are supposed to be buried under the sand. I've placed the diamonds in the rock though, that's by the crane, because they're a lot safer being stored in there than they are under a Lego plate. Above that section is one of Sandman's many stands. The set features a lot of sand-colored pieces scattered around to make it look as though Sandman has taken over. They're not the most stable of displays though. All of them are either allowing him to connect on by just one single stud, or they connect onto the build itself by one single stud. Like most of the things in the set, I love the idea, but I don't like the execution. A couple of the concrete bricks have these really cool sand sticker prints on them, which is neat, but I'm not really sure what it's supposed to be representing. It doesn't really give the illusion to me that it's sand forming or anything. Too much of the brick is still exposed color-wise, and it's just standing up. Maybe I'm just an idiot on this one. The set does feature one of my favorite pieces ever though. It's this big plate which is used all the time for display plaques in the UCS sets. Here though, and in a few other sets, it's actually used as part of the build. It creates this fresh looking asphalt design with some sand and dirt stains as stickers. It looks really nice. Near it is the web play feature where you push the sign and then the web will swing up. I'm assuming Rhino is supposed to stand here and now he's supposed to be stopped in his tracks. Mine feels like it's very old despite only being an 8-year-old set. The web is barely holding onto the connector here. The caution sign is the exact same one that's used at the beginning of this video by Sandman's little perch. The crane's really cool actually. It's definitely missing some aspects from it which I didn't realize until I had properly built it, but I do still like it. There's a sticker of a warning here at the base. The crane can also fully rotate. There's no cab here, which goes into that thing of me mentioning that there are some pieces that are missing. I'm not really sure how the crane is controlled, but it's sleek in its design, and it has that boulder piece which can be lowered with this interesting gimmick. You can lower it with the handle at the back here attached to this rope, so every time that you pull it back, the boulder will come back to you. You can drop it on Rhino's head, or maybe you can drop it and swing it at him or something. It's cool, I like it. This is the Sandman minifigure who was at the time one of the driving forces behind people buying the set because this was his first appearance. All 4 of these minifigures are exclusive to the set. Yes, even Spider-Man, believe it or not. Every figure has also since then had remakes released in different variants. It took LEGO 4 years after this figure to release for another genuine minifigure. We did have a Duplo and a Mighty Micros released in between then though, but not a proper minifigure. In actuality, it took 6 years from this one for another default appearance to be reappearing in sets, and I use that term loosely because he was still missing his legs. The 2023 release actually does feature some regular legs for a change. Fun fact for you, every single LEGO Sandman minifigure has had a sand formation right arm. No plain torso and arms have been released for Sandman just yet. Sandman's appearance is practically pulled straight from the LEGO Marvel Superheroes game. Occasionally LEGO would just take the design straight from the video games, which I think is really cool because those were the designs that I was used to and they were pretty much always perfect. I really wish that Mr. Incredible had the same treatment, but whatever. Cool prints of sand covering his clothing and an elf-like expression. He included a build of a sand hammer, which is nice but it is very short. I understand though it's supposed to be his fist, but the illusion just doesn't really work for me. Rhino was my main reason for buying this set. At the time of buying this a few years ago, I already had a Sandman minifigure, but Rhino remained the exclusive for 7 years until this release from the Junior sets. Rhino has now officially appeared in a minifig form wearing the Rhino suit. There is still no comic accurate big fig figure of him, which I think we can all agree is the one way to go about making him. He uses the angry clone face, which I think at the time had actually only been used on Star Wars figures. Since then it's been used on also Sandman, believe it or not, and a police guard. I like the tactical vest that he wears, which is supposed to be for his harness in the suit. He looks great. He kind of looks like he resembles John McClane to me, which is kind of neat, but he's also a vanilla figure, so there's not a whole lot to talk about from here on. The most interesting part of him was the suit. This is the Rhino Mech suit, which I fully understand is not what a lot of people wanted for a LEGO Rhino. For me personally, I'm not too bothered by it. One of my favorite Rhino moments is from the Ultimate Spider-Man video game. The Rhino boss fight is really cool, and I'm a lot more kinder to this mech design because of that. I'm also an Amazing Spider-Man 2 apologist, so go figure. This is not the design ripped from the LEGO game. In that game, he was an actual big fig and in a suit versus this mech. The mech here is a perfect size for me, though it is bigger than a big fig, so, you know, I'd like a big fig at some point as well, by the way, LEGO. He's got some feet and leg articulation, but no knee movements. His knees have to be permanently bent and his feet are pressed all the way forward so that he can stand up straight. His arms and hands are on ball joints, so they have free rotation for both, and his hands are also stud shooters. The cockpit opens up to reveal a harness for Alexei to stand in. I guess I would say I don't like the head placement on the mech personally. It always looks like the mech is looking down at his feet, unless you make some posing changes, and then it looks like he might fall backwards. So it's a little awkward of a design towards the top part there. Supposing him is a little limited, but you can get some pretty cool stuff in there. This is Iron Spider. The Spider-Man line would start releasing an exclusive variant of Spider-Man in every set around about this time, I think, which were always the main selling points for getting multiple Spider-Man sets. He does look really cool, though as of now, after some remakes, this one is the weakest one of the two, but the arms are infinitely better than any other iteration. I've personally never been too taken away with the Iron Spider look like some people have. I do like the shiny gold and the minimalist of red, but that suit just never really did anything for me. The remake would add some black highlights, and that's what I think this figure is really missing. The arms are the really cool spider arms that look like a Cronenberg design. He does have some back printing if you remove those spider legs. And this is Spider-Man, who we are all probably used to by now. He appeared in every Spider-Man set, or just about every one, but his key difference at the time was a rarity. Now, I think it, or at least I hope, it's a standard practice. He's got dual molding in his legs. Having the red boots looks really nice on him, though I wonder why it was remained to this set only. These legs have since been used on many other Spider-Man figures, but only from the rebooted lines. This 2012 variant of Spider-Man only ever released with these legs in this set, but that figure wouldn't be rebooted or redesigned for another 3 years or so, I think. So it's pretty strange to me that they then just went back to plain blue legs for a couple of years. Of the old design, he is my favourite one just for those leg changes alone, but I would love to see some actual web printing on them at some point in the future. Instructions for this set were in 2 manuals, though I don't know why. We have a yellow theming that goes throughout with a slight design of his suit, I think. The back advertises some of the 2015 sets, and I think they are all fantastic sets. The Shield Agent set is one that needs to make a return in my eyes, and that Ant-Man set might still be one of the best MCU-based LEGO sets. The other booklet here shows the features that we were looking at, and an advertisement for the LEGO Avengers game, which did not release in 2015. It missed it by about 26 days actually. LEGO Club is here, and feel free to check out the website. If you've seen the other reviews that I've done of the LEGO Superheroes line, like those previous sets, we still had comics released in all of the superhero sets, though it was around this time that they started downsizing on those releases. This comic has a story that was used in the Ant-Man set as well. So the build does have some fragile elements and everything feels somewhat half achieved, but as a display model, for me at least, I do really like it. I believe LEGO could really make one of the greatest all-timing waves ever released for Spider-Man and Batman if they just took the blueprint of a LEGO City wave and applied it here, but that's a discussion for an entire different video. Now, if you enjoyed this retrospective look at an old LEGO Spider-Man set, liking and subscribing does help to support this channel in making more videos like this. Ka kite anō.